Stop, the American Academy of Pediatrics wants to completely ban one of America's best-selling baby products. Not restrict it, not add warning labels, ban it entirely. And chances are, you've got one collecting dust in your house right now. I'm talking about baby walkers. But here's the terrifying part. Walkers are just one of 7 everyday products parents innocently buy, thinking they're helping their baby thrive, when they're actually triggering developmental delays that won't surface until months, sometimes years later. And product number 5. It's literally marketed as keeping your baby safe. It's in 90% of nurseries across America, and pediatricians are desperately begging parents to throw them out immediately. By the time this video ends, you're going to walk into your baby's nursery and see it with completely different eyes. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because nobody is warning you what these innocent-looking products are silently doing to your baby's developing body and brain. Let's expose the ones stealing your baby's ability to move. Number 1. Baby walkers. Here's what the research actually reveals about baby walkers, and this isn't up for debate. A landmark study tracking 190 infants discovered that babies using walkers started walking 3 to 4 weeks later than babies who never touched one. Even worse, they scored significantly lower on developmental assessments at both 10 and 14 months. But wait, it gets darker. When your baby sits in a walker, they're not learning to walk at all. They're learning a fundamentally broken movement pattern. They're toe pushing and rolling around. Zero balance development, zero core strength building, zero problem solving about weight distribution and staying upright. And here's the part that breaks my heart. All that precious floor time, the struggling, the wobbling, the tumbling onto their cushioned diaper and pulling themselves back up. That's not your baby's suffering. That's their nervous system literally wiring itself for independent movement. Every single time your baby catches themselves mid-fall, that's their cerebellum encoding critical information. Every time they grip the couch and their tiny legs tremble from pure effort, that's muscle memory being permanently programmed. The walker erases all of it. Now pile on the safety nightmare. Walkers give babies adult-level mobility before they have any judgment whatsoever. Suddenly, your 8-month-old can reach the staircase, the hot stove, the table edge with scalding coffee sitting inches away. The AAP analyzed every piece of data available and declared, this product should not exist in any form. And yet, still stocked at every major retailer, still wrapped up as baby shower gifts, still aggressively marketed to sleep-deprived parents who just need 10 minutes of freedom. So here's what actually works. Unstructured floor play. Hold their tiny hands and let them practice walking with you. Invest in a sturdy push toy that provides resistance, not one that rolls away effortlessly, forcing them to work for every step. Your baby will walk exactly when their body is developmentally ready, and they'll master it far better without the walker stealing their progress. Number 2. Bumbo seats and early sit-up chairs. Quick reality check. How many of you own those molded foam seats designed to prop babies upright before they can actually sit independently? Now here's the critical truth nobody mentions. Sitting isn't a skill you teach. It's a developmental milestone that emerges naturally from the inside out. When babies log hours on their tummies, rolling, pushing up on wobbly arms, they're systematically building the deep core musculature that eventually makes real sitting possible. But when we artificially prop them upright, we're applying compression force to a spine that isn't structurally ready. We're bypassing the foundational muscle development that must happen first. Picture this scenario. Imagine someone physically locked you into a position your body didn't have the strength to maintain and then just walked away. That's exactly what these seats do to your baby. The solution? Unrestricted floor time. Let your baby discover sitting the way biology designed it. They'll naturally progress from tummy time into side-sitting first, then sit with both hands planted forward for stability. Eventually, they'll sit completely independently because their body earned that capability. And that's when sitting transforms into something actually functional. But delaying physical milestones might not even be the most damaging consequence on this list, because the next 2 products interfere with something even more fundamental: how your baby's brain learns to think. Number 3. Screens and educational baby videos. Alright, take a deep breath because I'm about to address screens, and I can already sense half of you mentally preparing your defenses. Stay with me. Here's what the actual peer-reviewed research demonstrates, not opinions, not theories, documented evidence. For babies under 2 years old, screens don't educate. They actively delay language acquisition and social development. But my baby is obsessed with watching videos. They're so intensely focused. Exactly. That's the entire problem. Your baby's eyes reflexively track bright, saturated colors. Their attention gets completely hijacked by rapid movement and flashing stimuli. But that's not learning happening. That's just captured attention with zero comprehension. And here's the crucial neurological difference. Babies learn language through back and forth human interaction. They need to babble sounds and have you respond meaningfully. They need to point at objects and hear you name them in real time. They need to watch your face shift expressions as you speak. Videos are fundamentally incapable of this. Even supposedly interactive, videos cannot respond to your specific baby's specific sounds in real-time context. But there's another insidious effect happening. That rapid-fire sensory stimulation, the lightning quick cuts, the explosive colors, the relentless input makes real life seem unbearably boring by comparison. Real conversations unfold slower. Real play is quieter. And babies begin craving that intense stimulation, making it exponentially harder for them to engage with the patient, responsive interactions their developing brain desperately needs. Now, I'm not saying your baby is permanently damaged if they've been exposed to screens. But here's what I am declaring. Every single minute spent in front of a screen is a minute stolen from the kind of interaction that actually constructs language pathways. A baby who watches 2 hours of educational videos daily will hear thousands of words. But a baby who spends those same 2 hours with a responsive caregiver, being talked to, sung to, read to, won't just hear more words. They'll hear them wrapped in context, with emotional tone, with facial expressions, with conversational rhythm. That's where language actually lives, not inside videos. So what do you do when you legitimately need a break? Because you're human, and sometimes you need 10 uninterrupted minutes to prepare dinner without a baby attached to your hip. Create a safe, contained play space where your baby can independently explore toys. Even if they're fussing and protesting, they're learning to entertain themselves. They're developing sustained attention span. They're activating imagination. Even better, talk to them while you cook. Narrate everything you're doing. I'm slicing the carrots now. Do you hear that satisfying crunching sound? Now the carrots are sliding into the pot. It feels ridiculous. It's actually language gold. Number 4, overly noisy and flashing toys. Speaking of hijacked attention, let's dissect the toys that light up like slot machines, blast music, and essentially perform for your child. These toys don't nurture curiosity, they demand it. Watch what happens when a child interacts with a toy that does everything automatically. The toy generates the noise. The toy executes the action. The toy controls the play. Your child becomes a passive audience member, not an active creator. Now observe what happens with simple, open-ended toys. Wooden blocks, a metal spoon and pot, a plain cardboard box. Suddenly, your child must imagine what it becomes. They create the storyline from scratch. They experiment with how pieces fit together. That's where executive function develops. That's where creativity is born. That's real-time problem solving. Plus, and this genuinely matters, simple toys are inherently calming. There's no competition for attention. Play becomes naturally focused and purposeful. I'm not saying immediately throw out every electronic toy, but observe what your child gravitates toward when given unrestricted choice. You'll be shocked to discover that the $50 light-up singing toy sits abandoned in the corner, while they spend an entire hour with the cardboard box it arrived in. That's not the toy failing. That's your child's brain craving the open-ended play it fundamentally needs. Now, everything we've examined so far affects your baby's development gradually over months and years. But this next category, parents need to understand this today because unlike previous products, these can be dangerous right now. Number 5. Infant sleep positioners and cushioned sleep pods. Okay, we need to pause here because I'm about to expose a product that major health organizations have issued urgent safety warnings about. And yet, I guarantee you've seen it enthusiastically recommended in parenting Facebook groups this week. Infant sleep positioners, cushioned sleep pods, those cozy-looking nest contraptions promising better sleep and reduced reflux. This is the one product on this entire list that genuinely terrifies me. Not frustrates me, not concerns me, terrifies me. The American Academy of Pediatrics is crystal clear. Babies should sleep on a firm, completely flat surface with nothing else in the crib. Not soft cushions, not positioning devices, nothing. And there are two critical reasons. First, the immediate safety threat. Soft surfaces restrict natural movement and dramatically increase suffocation risk. Even if your baby appears comfortable, these products create life-threatening situations. But here's what gets discussed far less: the developmental destruction. When babies sleep on firm, flat surfaces, they naturally move during sleep cycles. They turn their heads, shift their weight, adjust positioning. Those small movements strengthen muscles and develop motor coordination. Cushion pods restrict all of it. There's also a sensory component being eliminated. A bare crib allows your baby to see their environment, track light and shadows, hear sounds with clarity. It's gently stimulating their awareness. Cushion pods create a visually monotonous, enclosed space that reduces sensory input. But what about flat spots developing on their head? That's a legitimate concern. The solution isn't a sleep positioner. It's increased tummy time when awake, varying the direction they face in the crib, and holding them more frequently. Bottom line, a firm, bare crib is a safe crib. Use a fitted sheet, a wearable sleep blanket for warmth, and nothing else. I know it looks stark and empty, but it's what keeps your baby alive. Number 6. Automated swings and vibrating bouncers. Now let's address devices that rock or vibrate to soothe your baby automatically. And look, I completely understand. When you're holding a screaming baby for the third consecutive hour, a swing that can take over feels like divine intervention. These products promise sweet relief. But here's what we unknowingly trade away: attunement. Attunement is when you learn your baby's unique rhythms, when you can distinguish their hungry cry from their overtired cry. When you discover that your baby calms with a specific swaying motion or a particular humming sound you make. That learning flows both ways. Your baby is simultaneously learning your rhythm, how you hold them, your scent, your heartbeat. That's how secure attachment physically forms. When a machine handles the soothing, that reciprocal learning vanishes. Babies become dependent on mechanical motion. They require the swing to sleep. They can't settle without the vibration running. Here's the profound thing about human soothing: it's irregular. Your breathing naturally changes. Your swaying isn't perfectly rhythmic, and that variability helps babies learn to regulate their own nervous systems. They're not maintained at a constant state. They're learning to modulate between states themselves. Now, if you're using a swing for a 5-minute break to use the bathroom, completely reasonable. But if the swing becomes the primary method your baby falls asleep, we're creating a dependency that makes everything exponentially harder long-term. The alternative: baby wearing, gentle rocking in your arms, skin-to-skin contact, consistent bedtime routines. More exhausting work up front, absolutely, but it builds something lasting. A baby who feels secure with you and develops their own internal capacity for self-soothing. Your physical presence is more neurologically powerful than any machine ever manufactured. We've covered movement, brain development, and sleep. But there's one last product category that touches all three simultaneously, and it's sitting in your diaper bag right now. Number 7. Food pouches and delayed self-feeding tools. Food pouches are everywhere. No mess, no prep, perfectly portioned, travel-friendly, and for occasional use. They're fine. But here's the hidden issue. When pouches become the primary way a child eats, we rob them of crucial developmental experiences. Let me paint you a vivid picture of what your baby is supposed to be learning during mealtimes. They're learning to use their hands to manipulate different textures. The precise force needed to grasp a slippery banana versus a firm cracker. They're developing fine motor skills by successfully bringing food to their mouth. They're strengthening the exact oral muscles needed for chewing and eventually producing clear speech. They're also learning about food through all 5 senses. What does a blueberry feel like when you squeeze it? What does roasted sweet potato smell like? What happens when I enthusiastically smash this avocado? But when everything flows from a pouch, that sensory exploration completely disappears. Food becomes a uniform, smooth texture requiring no chewing, no manipulation, no discovery. And there's something else being stolen. Self-feeding builds confidence. When your baby successfully gets a piece of food into their mouth, they light up with pride. I did this, I'm capable. Pouches keep children dependent. Even toddlers who could absolutely be using utensils stay on pouches because it's easier and cleaner for everyone. Now, before guilt starts creeping in, I completely understand the appeal. Mess is exhausting. But here's what I want you to genuinely consider. That mess, it's learning. Those smashed peas decorating the high chair, that's your baby figuring out cause and effect in real time. That banana smeared in their hair. That's sensory exploration and fine motor practice happening simultaneously. So start with finger foods they can grasp independently. Offer different textures and temperatures. Let them explore with their hands before they even attempt eating. Give them a spoon to hold, even if they can't use it effectively yet. Yes, it will be gloriously messy. Put a washable mat under the high chair. Dress them in clothes you don't care about. Take a photo and laugh because that mess is temporary. The skills they're building, those last forever. Now here's what's absolutely wild about everything on this list. Every single one of these products was invented in the last 40 years. Baby walkers, 1950s. Bumbo seats, early 2000s. Food pouches, last 15 years. Meaning millions of babies, including your parents, your grandparents, developed perfectly fine without any of them. So why do we suddenly need them now? We don't. But the baby product industry is a $67 billion industry, and they're extraordinarily, manipulatively good at making you think you do. So here's what I desperately want you to understand. These products weren't created with malicious intentions. The companies genuinely believe they're helping, and the parents who buy them are doing their absolute best with the information they have. But remember at the beginning when I said these products were quietly holding your child back. Here's what I mean by quietly. These delays don't announce themselves dramatically. You don't get a notification that your baby's core strength isn't developing properly. There's no pop-up warning that language skills are lagging behind. It just happens slowly, invisibly, until suddenly you're at the 18-month wellness checkup and the pediatrician is asking questions you weren't expecting. Is she walking steadily? How many words is he saying? Can she feed herself with a spoon? And you're thinking, wait, I thought we were doing everything right. Here's the truth. Real development happens through movement, connection, touch, exploration, and time. It happens on the floor, in your arms, with simple toys, through messy meals, and during those ordinary moments that feel completely unremarkable. You don't need every trending product. You don't need the most expensive gear money can buy. What you need is to trust the process, to believe your baby's body and brain know what they need, to provide opportunities for natural development rather than trying to artificially accelerate it. So here's what I want you to do. Don't go throw out everything in your nursery tonight, but after you put your baby down, take 5 minutes, walk through your home, and ask yourself one powerful question. Is this product doing something my baby should be learning to do themselves? That's it. One question. It will change everything. Drop a comment right now and tell me which product on this list surprised you most. Was it the baby walker, the screens, the sleep positioners? And if this video fundamentally changed how you see these products, share it with another parent. Because sometimes the most helpful thing we can do is help each other make more informed choices. Your presence, your patience, your willingness to let development unfold at its own natural pace. That's more powerful than anything money can buy.